hate narcissists so much. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I know that's not good for me. But they legitimately grind my gears. I was thinking about how when it comes to death, people love to project their own personal feelings onto you. So, one of the reasons why people apologize when somebody else dies, they say things like, "I'm sorry for your loss." How do you know it was a loss? How do you know that that person didn't want that motherfucker to croak? What if they didn't have a positive relationship with him? What if it was for the best? You know, like that person was suffering and now they're out of their misery. It's like we do that, don't we? I mean, I do it too, but I'm becoming more aware of it. Like, when I say things like I pity society for being addicted to phones, I mean, that's what they want, right? That's what they choose to do. So maybe I should stop feeling sorry for them. Maybe I should stop assuming that the reason why they stare at their phone all fucking day is because they're miserable or because they're insecure or whatever. I mean, maybe they just do it because that's what everybody does. And maybe that's wrong for me to assume that too, you know? Like, whatever pride I have, I can't enjoy, okay? Just to let you know. I cannot stroke my ego for longer than 2.5 seconds. Because we really don't know all the stuff we think we do. But I brought that up because, you know, people will often assume that I must be really sad, you know. And I mean, I do get lonely, but I get lonelier when I'm with somebody because I know I can't handle it. And that's like way more painful. Like when I talk about how like having sex makes me want to kill myself, like that's not a joke. And I think it's because sex is why we're all here. When two people have sex, you know, and I'm talking about regular ass man, woman, when they have sex the way that we're supposed to have sex, we can bring about life. Another person will be put on this planet because of this experience that we have that so many people take for granted. They're not really conscious of. But I think about that and it makes me really sad. Maybe it's because I'm adopted, I don't know. Maybe that's what's triggering me. But I don't know, like when people assume that I must be really lonely and hate my life or something. Well, you know, when I was younger, I used to be way more bitter than I am now. But, you know, when I'm around people that are happy, like when I see couples, like yesterday I saw this couple hugging each other. And I thought it was real sweet. And I'm glad they have that. When I see, you know, married couples at church and they still act like they're in love. At least that's the impression they want to give off. It's like, I'm legit happy for them. I'm happy that they're raising their kids. I'm happy that there are some children that will grow up and know that they were conceived in a way that makes sense. You know, because I think a lot of kids, they grow up and they don't have any idea why they're here. And I guess maybe that's why I've spent my entire life studying mental illness. So thank you, Mom. Thank you for giving me life. I was born on Thanksgiving Day. So it took me a long time to be grateful for that one, but at least we got here, right? Well, people project their fear of death onto other people. Like, say somebody gets a cancer diagnosis. Maybe they wanted it. I mean, they live in America and they do all this stuff to fuck themselves up. And they're not really conscious of that, so... You know? People assume, like, with whatever their feelings are, they project them onto other people. And so because people have this fear of death, because people have this fear of being alone, which I think those two things are definitely correlated. They have this fear of not having somebody to validate them, not having somebody to pay attention to them. They have this fear of the futility of things, not being important. They project that onto me and they just assume that I must be a miserable fuck because I don't want to do what society does and I don't have any interest in finding somebody to hold me. Barf. Anyway. They're projecting their insecurity onto me and they're calling that empathy. Oh, I care about you. I want you to be happy. If you wanted me to be happy, we'd stop having this conversation. Okay? If you wanted me to be happy, you just let me be. But people don't understand that there are different versions of happiness. That's why I can talk mad shit about, you know, people doing it wrong or like what I think is wrong, but obviously that's what they feel is right for them, you know? Like most people are probably not going to have sex or, you know, conceive human beings the way that I think they should. They're going to do it their way, and it doesn't matter, like, how I feel about it, and I can, you know, wag my finger at them all I want, but it's not going to change anything. Like, that's what's so fucking stupid about this whole culture of social media is, like, it's just encouraging people to be narcissists. It's encouraging people to be super judgmental, and it's not as if anything's changing for the better because of that, you know? It'd be one thing if a tweet could save somebody's life, you know? It'd be one thing if a hashtag could change people's minds, but that's not what's fucking happening. And so it's just futile. Everything about this culture is totally futile. And I know that what I do isn't futile because it changes me. It helps me, and it helps people like me. So it figures that I would try to help a group of people that, you know, they understand where I'm coming from. Now that doesn't mean that I don't try to understand where other people are coming from. I mean, that is what empathy is. Not trying to force you to see where I'm coming from. You know, I never get into arguments with people hoping to change their minds. I'm always trying to learn shit. And if you don't want to learn anything, like, you've lost the plot. There's really no point in living. But I look at it like this, you know, if it's positive, then it's a good thing. Like, if I'm learning stuff and it makes me feel better. Because I've learned bad things, and I'm like, well, I can't do anything about that. Then for me, it'll force me to trust God more. It'll force me to trust my instincts more. But I don't think that that's what most people are doing with negative information. They're just getting crazier and crazier, and they're not creating. You know, they're not doing anything to raise their vibration, you know? I know, I just sound like such a fucking guru, don't I?